Dung, dung. I don't want to be anything other than what I've been trying to be lately. All I have to do is think of me and I have peace of mind. I don't want to be anything other than what I've been trying to be lately. All I have to do is think of me and I have peace of mind. I'm tired of looking around rooms wondering what I gotta do or who I'm supposed to be. I don't wanna be anything other than me.
Season 8, Not Dead Yet, Bitch, You're a Ghost Now. Episode 153 out of 187. Okay, new season, new writing gimmick. I'm refreshed and ready to type away. I mean, I'm very excited. We're in the home stretch now. Only 34 or so episodes left to cover, so let's just hold it together and keep on moving. We open with a new gimmick, and it's Jaylee Haim Scott writing letters to her brother-in-law, Lubisky. Aww, how sweet. Anyhows, Alex is moving to Tree Hill, which sucks, and Chase is contemplating taking back his ex, or getting with Alex. Personally, I'm picking Mia every damn time. Anyways, it turns out that Quinn James and Clay are ghosts now. I'm sorry, in accordance with Glazed Ham lore, I mean to say they're ghosts now. Hey, remember basketball? Yeah, that's right. Apparently NBA season is coming up and Nathan's ready to ball again. Jaylee is back to normal and happy again. We cut to Broke and Julian, and their plan is currently to just have raw sex for the next 24 and or 48 hours. And then, right as they get down to business, we cut to something very, very special. That's right, after 2 seasons of being missing in action, it's finally back. The one, the only, my dearly beloved One Tree Hill intro sequence! And to make it better, it's the original theme song. That's right, baby. I don't want to be anything other than what I've been trying to be lately. God, how I've missed you, shitty opening sequence. And holy shit, basketball is coming soon. They've really pulled out all the stops for making this show good again. The parents break the news to the little shithead Jamie that there's gonna be yet another Scott to keep track of, and he's so excited to have a little bro. He's gonna be crushed whenever Jaylee Hames gives birth to a baby girl. Anyhows, we get some wedding planning montage for Broke and Julian before we get some ghost visions of Clay and Jwin, because remember, they got shot in the last season's finale. I'm sorry, I meant to say Scost in accordance with Glazed Ham lore. Please forgive me. Anyway, Jamie says a funny little slur starting with the letter R during some improv thing where he's acting like fans from other cities. Jamie then asks his dad where babies come from, and this is going to be a running bit for a long time, where we see just how poorly everyone is going to explain sex to this child. Oh boy! People are starting to worry about why Clay and Jwin Quames aren't responding. Jaylee goes and makes the rounds telling Broke she's pregnant, and when she eventually goes to visit Clay and Jwin, something's wrong. She'll discover the somehow still alive bodies and call the cops, despite how they've been bleeding out for at least 5 hours at this point. Back in the present, speaking of the police, Broke gets arrested for false financial reports or something. We get more of the whole failing to teach this 7 or 8-year-old about sex, and it's goofy. At a routine checkup, Nathan learns that, he won't be able to basketball again. We get some more corporate shit with clothes over bros, and I'm gonna save myself some time and say that this will result in the company shutting down permanently. So this is how a 7 or so long season empire collapses. Jesus wept. Anyways, while hanging with Chuck looks up porn on Jamie's computer. Jaylee walks in, and for some reason Jamie gets in trouble for something he didn't do. Free my boy, he did nothing wrong! Anyways, Nathan and Jaylee chastise the boy for looking at porn, and they continue to avoid the talk by playing Gears of War 3, which supposedly just came out, thus placing this episode somewhere near April 8th, 2011. The more you know. Also, this little shithead is playing Gears of War in the year of our Lord 2011 instead of a man's game like Shadows of the Damned. The company is coming crashing down, and man, aside from this song, life sucks. Anyways, the episode ends when Nathan visits Clay's house and finds the bodies, calls the cops, etc. So I lied earlier. I'm sorry. I know I promised I wasn't going to lie to you several times, but I can't help it. This show has melted my brain. Episode 154 out of 187. More Jaylee Hames Scott opening letters to Lucas. We then witness Closed Over Bros in its last dying breaths, and oh, Jesus, wept. Why is Alex still here? Bart's ending. Oh, and she's done a little tweeting to get a shit ton of people to trick? What joy I'm experiencing. I'm absolutely ecstatic. Now, it turns out that I didn't lie earlier when I said Jaylee Hames discovers the bodies. The show was just messing with me. We see the ghosts doing their thing, and they're getting dragged into the hospital after having bled for like 5 days at this point. But they say it's only been 12 hours, which, how the fuck are you still alive? Doesn't matter. We get the intro, and it's not the same. They played a shitty cover version of it, and they'll continue to do this throughout the season. Jesus wept. They baited me, and I don't know how much more of this abuse I can take, Captain. Back in the hospital here, we see Jaylee Hames Scott in the waiting room since it's been too long since we last had a hospital scene in this shit show. More people show up, witness the bodies, and wah-hey! Dwin Quames and Clay are ghosts. Since nobody can see them, we get some fun stuff of the ghosts watching themselves get operated on, etc., etc. Anyhow, we get more shit around Chase and Mia, Jamie and Julian, Broke and Jaylee. None of it really matters. Anyone can see. None of it really matters to me. What does matter to me is a very homoerotically charged shot between Chase and Mouth, where Chase admits that he hired Alex because she could tie a cherry stem into a knot with her tongue, only for Mouth to do it, but better. It was definitely not intended to be as gay as it is, but you know what? I'd support it. It'd be out of nowhere and make no sense, but who cares? It'd be great and entertaining. More hospital shit ensues, and man, do you remember basketball? You remember like 2 seasons ago when everything was great? No? Well, neither did the writers of this shit show. We see the Scott family crying over the comatose bodies of Clay and Dwin, respectively, before we get some ghost shit montages where they just be walking places and all that jazz. The show just also decided it needed some music, so they pulled out a Pearl Jam song, Just Breathe, for some reason, and it's pretty goofy. Jamie pieces together that Aunt Dwin has been in an accident during his wacky subplot for the day, and Clay is convinced he's gonna die. So aside from this song, Life Sucks, there's a lot of arguing over what the dog doing, with the proverbial dog being Clay and the doing being dying, since Dwin is healing and his ass ain't. In both real and ghost world, we get a lot of crying sad bitches and 95.1 WDNC. Oh hey, Dwin ends out the episode by waking up, and it seems like while Clay's still here, all is lost. Episode 155 out of 187. More Jaylee letters to Lubisky. And she's gonna volunteer for a crisis hotline. And holy Jesus Christmas, holy Jesus, goddamn holy Jesus jumping Christmas shit. Batman, I'm losing my sanity. The end is within sight. But at what cost? We get some ghost shit between Clay and unnamed black man, and honestly, I wish I was just reading The Crow, because at least then I'd have something of value to talk about. Not only that, but I did have something of value to talk about when I talked about it forever ago. See, isn't editing wonderful? Oh, hey, it appears that Mouth and Millie are back together again, and they had some Funky Town shenanigans off screen, and appear to have some morning after regrets. Anyways, hospital, apparently Clay flatlines, and intro. This one is particularly something really stupid. It's just a pop/EDM cover of the song, and it just fucking sucks, man. It's so bad. It's like getting audibly sucker punched. Mouth has been searching for a job, and it's failing horribly. And as such, he started a podcast. God, this show was really innovative in the world of unemployed men just starting podcasts thinking they'll make it big. Speaking of, I'd like to take a moment to plug my new podcast, Rambling Ham, coming never. Clay is dying of organ failure and he needs a new kidney or some shit. Who knows, man? It's a contrived plot device, just like Mouth talking about a sports movie that matches Clay's scenario really damn close. Nathan is determined to save Clay and he offers to give him a kidney, even if it means he'll never basketball again. It seems like his days are numbered because his back is definitely disintegrating. Clay and unnamed black man argue a bunch over Nathan's potential sacrifice, and man, this kind of stinks, you know? More things happen, and mein Gott, this show is terrible. Clay and unnamed black man are chilling and talking on the hospital roof or some rooftop somewhere. They talk about what happened to him that's placed him in limbo, Skostland. There's something about how this wasn't Clay's fault, and damn, I wish I was watching The Crow 1994. Anyways, Nathan isn't a match, so kidney time ain't coming anytime soon, unless? Before we can get to that, we gotta get more crying, and this time it's Nathan going for a drive in the country, seeing some horse running on someone's property, and he just starts crying. Damn, it's just like that panel of the 2011 special edition release of The Crow. Doesn't matter. Back to Closed Over Bros, Victoria is taking the fall and going to prison. Let's go! This is the second time a main character's parent has gone to jail! Woo! The episode ends out with someone flatlining, and wouldn't you know it, it's time for the unnamed black man to carry on into a place where nothing ever happens. But hey, this isn't all doom and gloom. Clay got his kidney, and oh hey, bitch, he back out, he coma! Also, unnamed black man's name was Will Bennett, so in death we have a name, I guess. Yeah! Episode 156 out of 187. Nathan is bawling at the river court. Then, you guessed it, Jaylee Hames Scott led her to Lubisky. She's working at a crisis center and it's not going well. Chase and Alex go golfing and holy shit, Chase is such a dweeb. I mean, Jesus Christ. This dude was originally a skater boy in high school, but apparently he's a golfer champ, which is cringe. Brooke's life is collapsing and she's dealing with having to do some radical overhauls for clothes over hose or whatever. Clay is alive and it seems fine. Wahoo! Then intro time, and it's a very sad lo-fi rendition of the song. It's mid, but alright, whatever. We're back to golf, it's funky, and Chase just kicks her ass in golf. Dwin Quames is gonna live with the Inscott family until Clay is well enough to live at his own house. Brooke and Julian are planning for a wedding, but the company shit is gonna put a big damper on that shits. Clay and Nathan talk about him no longer being the NBA guy, and since Clay needs someone to take care of business, Nathan's gonna become an agent. Brooke decides to give all the money the investors lost back, and wouldn't you know it, we're back to being poor as shit. But for now, they have money and shits. Back at the golf course, you know that Chase just decimated the final hole, and the other 17 holes before. Nate goes to clean up Clay's house, sees that the paramedics didn't clean up after themselves like dirty heathens, and so he goes day drinking at Trick. My man! He then commits to retiring and becoming an agent after he talks with Julian and learns that he didn't know that Jamie liked baseball. He goes home, talks to Jaylee, and decides to retire. Chase and Alex head back to her hotel room and he gets denied sex because she actually likes him. He then goes to leave until she says no, come back, and they engage in some funky town shenanigans. Jaylee does her crisis center thing and she encounters someone who really needs her. And it's a lady with an Irish accent contemplating just how much life sucks. We get the usual montage to end out on, and it's a particularly goofy one when Nathan cleans Clay's house. Episode 157 out of 187. Dear Lucas, I wrote you, but you still ain't calling. But you know who has been calling? That Irish accented lady. The subtitles call her Erin. Brooke decided to liquidate the whole company and give all the money back to investor, so she's committed to becoming Brooke Davis in a moment of character growth.
It's not about the money, Batman. It's about the message or some shit, I don't know.
She's gotta go break the news to Mom there, and guess how that's gonna go. Mouth and Nathan talk at the river court, talking about how they miss the good old days with basketball and when Mouth had a real job, etc., etc. It's a nostalgia march for nothing. Anyways, Bitchtoria chews out Broke for going broke. Then, intro time! And oh dear God, this is the worst one yet. It's like they got a low-rent Lou Reed impersonator, and it sucks so bad. After that shit-ass intro, Julian comes to the house to offer Jamie a gift, a baseball glove that supposedly belonged to Roberto Clemente, which means Pittsburgh Pirates mentioned! Rah! Anyhows, it's a nice gesture, but 95.1 WDNC. Nathan heads to the hospital, and it's time for him to break the news about him no longer being in the NBA. Clay needs someone to rep his agency, and guess who's gonna become a sports agent? Nathan! Guess who knows nothing about being an agent? Nathan! Back to Broke. She's under the bridge where she and Peyton used to talk and shit, but Peyton's long gone, traveling the world with Lubisky and Sawyer. We get a certified tutor girl mention, but the tutor girl is more like therapist crisis center girl. That said, it sure does seem like these two are gonna work on a new business, since apparently the only things women can do here is business, sex, car accidents, and coke. Mia is having a crisis over her ex seeing Alex and other shits. Julian is working on a documentary around starting over, and who would have guessed that Mouth is the prime candidate? He's cripplingly lonely, has no job, no bitches, nothing. So he's the prime candidate. Kinda like me. Dwin Quames visits Clay in the hospital. They're like one step away from hospital sex. We get an awkward glimpse into Mouth's life, and damn bitch, you live like this? After a quick trick visit, Nathan and Broke talk about bothing having shit parents in prison, etc., etc., and they're there to support each other and all that jazz. Nate's ready to go be an agent, Clay's getting out of the hospital, so Dwin is there to see him and escort him out. A lot of kissing delays what should be a simple process. What in the goddamn Jesus Christmas shit is happening anymore? We get a mid-episode montage shits, and oh boy, Alex has to leave because of a movie! Yes! Yes! Get the hell out of here, winch! Chase breaks up with Alex because she lied about not having a movie or whatever bullshit excuse. I'm not bothered by it. We get another Jaylee Hames Scott and Broke moment, and this is a moment where Peyton should have been here, but alas, she is no more. Peyton announces his retirement from the NBA. Shit. Nathan announces his retirement from the NBA, Broke announces the end of Clothes Over Bros, and Nathan's press conference ends with him plugging an interview he did with Mouth in order to launch his podcast into the stratosphere. Broke does her thing, Nathan spends time with Boy playing ball, and Jaylee is much more visibly pregos than she was earlier in the episode. Mouth's podcast is doing great. Clay and Dwin are a bit scared to be in their own home. Broke and Julian are gonna get poor people married now. And episode end. You know, I should be sad now because it seems like basketball is finally no more. Rest in peace, basketball. Coach didn't die for this shit.
Yeah, it's time for episode 158 out of 187.
Dwin has a zombie nightmare, and it's a weird sequence that makes no sense, but does have Julian and Brooke doing synchronized zombie kicking, and everyone keeps calling them vampires. She wakes the fuck up, Samurai, and all is well. Just kidding, she bought a gun. Then intro time with a super weird soul version of the song? What a weird show. The nightmare sequence makes sense because it's a Halloween episode! Nathan learns the ins and outs of being an agent. Millie and Mouth are talking again, then Mia comes up to talk to Chase since Alex just up and bounced town. No guy is convinced that their respective ex wants to get back with them. We learn Aaron's name is Aaron at Jaylee's Crisis Center shift. Broke is moping about being broke, and Julian's got to convince her to feel better via whatever. But then Julian's mom is in town, and oh, Jesus Christ, she's insufferable. Nate's gonna go out on his first date agent edition, and not until we get the obligatory Jamie and Friends subplot with the always infuriating Chuck the Cuck. Nate goes on his first agent visit, and he's talking to a football player. Ew! We've switched sports to football? This is messed up, man. Anyway, Julian's mom is an alcoholic and a bitch. Which proves that no parents in this show, except for Keith and Karen, are good people. We get some awkward shit between Mouth and Millie, and hot damn does it blow chunks. I'm starting to really resent my time here in Tree Hill, but hey, it's time to soldier on. Julian's mom is here to pay for the wedding, but not without her full greasy hands controlling everything. This shit sucks almost as much as living in a college dorm that's predominantly football players. That's how you could tell I wrote this my freshman year of college. Oh god, that's real. Anyway, the kids go trick-or-treating. There's a Halloween party at Trick, and there's one really great costume. We see that Jaylee Hames Scott dressed up as high school Jaylee Hames Scott, not high school Jaylee Hames, big difference, because she's a Pregos cheerleader. The party is weird, like there's a gag about the fellas high-fiving Julian, since apparently he has spent zero time with the normal guys, who have also spent minimal time together. This is stupid. Anyways, during Trick's Halloween open mic night, Aaron goes last, number 23 for the night, same as Nathan's b-ball number. This is when Jaylee Hames sees what Aaron looks like. They don't meet yet, but damn, this is gonna be a plot point, ain't it? Ugh. Time for episode 159 out of 187. Random shots from Julian's documentary thing, but then he realizes he doesn't have a best man since he's a little loser whose only friend was his mother. Speaking of his mom, Broke and Mom go to a bridal expo and try not to kill each other. We get some shenanigans involving Chase bringing Mia coffee, Clay dancing in his own house, and then Clay sending Nathan to Atlanta, and their interaction ends with a masturbation joke. Clay comments on how Gwyn being out of town has killed his sex life due to his right arm being out of commission, to which Nathan says, "That's why I learned to dribble with both hands." What a shitty joke. What isn't a shitty joke is Mouth waking up next to a Lubisky mannequin and immediately screaming. Skills is back in town. And speaking of back in town, Alex is tragically back in town for a bit. Anyways, Jaylee tries to recruit Aaron to the label, and it doesn't go well. Also not going well is the worst possible version of the intro yet. It's a club mix version of a guy who wishes he sounded like Robert Smith. You know, the guy from The Cure. And it's straight dog shit, bro. We get some shit about Julian and Alex, and everything kinda sucks and is horribly awkward, just like Broke's wedding shopping. Back in Mouth's apartment, Skills talks about the Lucas mannequin, and it's funny. Skills asks what happened with Millie, and she went home with a gladiator, much to Mouth's dismay. But Skills' response is worth noting, because he says, quote, "At least it wasn't the Crow." I have to assume this is a certified The Crow reference. Don't look. Anyways, Skills' creepy fascination with the mannequin is strange, but not as strange as Alex trying to interrupt Chase as he's talking to Mia. He says no, and it's progress. Jaylee bitches at Mia for convincing her to ask Aaron to sign with the label, and wah-hey! Jaylee just lost her job at the Crisis Center. Yippee! Both Nathan and Jaylee screwed up now because Nathan doesn't know the agent jargon, so shit sucks. What also sucks? The poker night Julian is hosting, since he doesn't know the guys and wants to bond with them. It goes terribly for a variety of reasons, and damn shoddy, it's no wonder these people hate each other. Back at the wedding shit, Broke should just execute Julian's mom Hitman style, but no, we can't do that here, and the hormonal Jaylee Hames is not supportive to Broke's cause. Also, all the guys kinda hate Julian and Clay. Ain't that some shit? Anyways, Alex whines a bunch about not getting to talk to Chase, and Julian encourages her to go talk to him. Clay and Nathan repair the damages by talking to each other. Broke and Julian's mom don't really repair the damages since she's an alcoholic, but it is what it is, I suppose. Aaron and Jaylee talk and repair the damages, so that's nice. Chase and Alex talk, and he immediately jumps the gun, kisses Mia in front of Alex, and gets slapped by both of them for being a dipshit. My man! Julian and Broke talk. Julian introduces Lubisky mannequin, his best mannequin, and it's all so fucking stupid. Also, Nathan managed to secure that football player as a client, so this wasn't a total loss for him. However, they did both leave Jamie at Chuck's house, so they're perpetually screw-ups. episode 160 out of 187. Jamie got braces and damn, nobody cares. Nathan is getting dropped off at the airport by Clay to convince some guy to play for the Atlanta Falcons, and it means we've officially switched to football and lost what this show is all about. Oh hey, speaking of losing everything, Brooke officially signed over her ownership of Clothes Over Bros, and it's all Jover. Jamie is a self-conscious shithead for having braces. Chase makes a fool out of himself in front of Mia, but apparently that kind of works out well for him. Mouth gets visited by an old TV station friend, and he's gonna try to help Mouth get his job back. My man! Broke is about ready to execute Julian's mom when she starts bitching about her motherfucking kitchen after losing everything. And she basically tells Julian's mom to piss off and let my wedding be my wedding. Julian's mom is offended and leaves all pissed off, and then we get the intro. Oh man, I know I said the last one was bad, but Jesus wept. They just keep getting worse. This one could best be described as department store blues music, which says all you need to know. Julian hears Broke out and then talks to his bitch-ass alcoholic mom, and it seems like this conflict is gonna be a subplot. Anyhows, back at Trick, Erin sent in a demo tape for Jaylee Hames, and she's gonna have to convince her to do music, just like she and Peyton did with Mia. Speaking of things people used to do with Peyton, Broke is throwing water balloons off the roof of what was the cafe. One nearly hits Julian, and he teleports up there near instantly. They talk, and oopsie,
95.1 WDNC.
Back in Atlanta, Nathan secures that bag, and back at home, Jamie does a swear and gets his stupid asshole shit has headgear on. What a fucking just dweeb. We get an extended sequence of Clay failing to do easy tasks due to injury before cutting back to Atlanta, where Nathan continues to secure that bag. We meet real football players for some reason, and they tell the kid Nathan's trying to sign to join the team. Back at Trick, Mouth tells Chase to get his shit together because he's got two famous ladies fighting over his lowly bar manager ass, and it's a bit goofy. Then Mouth talks about his problems, and my lord, we don't care. However, they start day drinking, and I'm interested again. Anyways, Erin is in the studio banging out tunes on the piano. Then Mia chats with her about music, and Jaylee Hames Scott and what she does for musicians and all that jazz. Clay talks to Will Bennett, the previously unnamed Black Ghost during that one episode's grave, and is sure is something. It's all quiet on the business front, and hey, Nathan's doing great. Man. Back at Trick, we see Mouth and Chase drinking and talking about who Chase should try and fix the damages with. He gets no conclusive answer. Brooke kinda repairs the damages with Julian's bitch mom. Jaylee Hames Scott and Erin work out a deal after talking about crisis shit. Nathan does business, and all is well in this North Carolinian hell. Clay picks up Nathan, Mouth gets a call, and he's not getting his old job back. Damn, he won't get anything good, will he? We get them Life is Strange ass shots around town, and all is well. Dear Lucas, it's Thanksgiving and you still haven't called me back. Or whatever the hell Jaylee Hames is rambling about at the start of this episode. And honestly, I'm using my executive powers to say that nothing in this episode matters other than Victoria is now out of jail and just as bitchy as ever. And oh, yeah, an even shittier cover of the intro song. I guess I have to mention that Nathan has to go back to college since he's a few credits short of graduating, like a dingus. And he needs those credits in order to be an agent or something. Also, Dwin Quames is back in town after some photography trip, and Mouth and Millie get back together again. Episode 162 out of 187. We get a goofy, hallucinatory redneck wedding sequence that sure was an executive decision, especially with Jamie Lubisky Scott drinking a Budweiser or another such piss water. It doesn't matter, just a weird-ass nightmare Broke was having. Jamie is not a child alcoholic, and in fact, he is a massive dork competing in the spelling bee like a fucking nerd, and not the good kind. Although he's not nearly as much of a nerd as Nathan, whose wife is making him a sack lunch for his first day back to college. Clay is going back to work or something, and so Dwin Quames is gonna be home alone. Jaylee gets a call from Mia, and wouldn't you know it, that Mia just booked Kid Cudi to do a show at Trick. What even is this show? Nathan goes to college, and he actively decides to take a class with the most annoying douchebag professor you've ever seen, and it's almost like he wants his students to fail. God, I watched this show to escape the horrors of college, not see my current experience on screen. For legal reasons, this is a joke. All of my professors are great. Anyhow, Jwin Quames goes out for burgers and asks the cook how to murder, only for him to turn around and reveal that Danny Boy is back, bitches! And then, it's intro time! And you'll never guess that it's an absolute dog shit cover. Dan then talks about how to murder or something, and this sure is a goofy sequence where Dan explains how to kill someone and get away with it. Anyways, back to Jaylee Hames Scott. She's talking with Broke about the wedding, and it's not going well. Then Nathan complains about having a shitload of homework, and there's some message about overcoming hard things, but 95.1 WDNC. Broke is looking for inspiration, and Julian discovers a list of Broke's life goals from way back in season 5, and according to the show, this happened years ago. It seems like Julian's got a plan to make Brooke happy and inspired again, and it's a fun series of gags. Nathan goes to class, and due to him being a famous boy, everyone disrupts class for him. The teacher is a gross, angry shithead about Nathan having been a college athlete, which I'm sure is supposed to be commentary on how sports receive better funding than education, but this sure as hell ain't that place to be making that statement. Anyways, something celebrity bartending, as if Kid Cudi wasn't a big enough draw on his own, and it has Mia and Alex making jabs at Chase or whatever. Then Nathan gets a new tutor, his 7-year-old super genius dork son, or rather, the next evolution of Tutor Girl, Tutor Son. Back at Trick, Jaylee Hames Scott takes Aaron to meet Kid Cudi, and it turns out that Aaron is going to be the opening act. How exciting! She's really exciting, and it's fun to see. Anyways, back to the murder subplot. Dan's telling Jwin all the information she'll ever need to know in an effort to scare her straight. But at back at Trick, the bartender girls are tormenting Chase for no real reason at this point, and it's a bit funny, but not enough to mask the fact that Alex is back in this show. It hurts. Alex engages in a little sexual harassment by non-consensually kissing Chase in the back room or whatever. He didn't look into it at all. Regardless, after a great day of bonding, Julian and Broke are determined to raise a family, so they head off to the bedroom. Brooke's fertility issues be damned. She now has inspiration for how the dresses are gonna look, and it's nice. Anyways, it's raining, and guess who's heading back to Tree Hill? It's the tennis psycho! Oh boy! Kill me now. Episode 163 out of 187. It's raining and really shitty outside, and it's the perfect weather for a series of tragedies in Tree Hill. After a spelling bee, Jamie is a douchebag cuck asshole, and man, I hate him. But he's gonna go home with some friends despite the shit weather. Brooke and Julian are fighting over unimportant shit, and she storms out into the storm, just like she did that one time with Lubisco. Jwin is home alone, and oh hey, it's time for a patented Tree Hill home invasion sequence in a season that's a multiple of 4, because Tennis Psycho is here. Then, for the first time in a long time, the original intro plays, and all is well in the world. God, I miss the original 6 seasons. Anyhows, during the storm, Jaylee and Nathan get a flat tire and are stranded in the heavy rain. Jwin's security system goes out, and when she stupidly leaves the house door open to turn off the car alarm that's going off outside, instead of just doing it from the window like a normal person, Tennis Psycho enters the house, and Jwin doesn't know it yet. Broke is out driving, and she finds that Jamie, Chuck the Cuck, and everybody else was in a car accident. And this is why you don't do this shit in the hurricane equivalent weather, you fucking morons. Broke manages to help get the kids out of the car, and it seems to be fine or whatever. While she's off playing hero, Dwin is surviving a home invasion since Tennis Psycho is back to finish the job. Dwin has the upper hand and she stabs Tennis Psycho in the leg, which against all physics and logic isn't fatal, despite definitely hitting that one artery. Tennis Psycho is unhinged and pulls out the knife that was in her leg to try and stab Dwin. Back at the car crash bridge, yes, that bridge from season 3, Julian shows up right as another car hits the car with Broke and Jamie inside off the bridge and drives off. Now it's time for Julian to do the thing that Nathan did in the 3rd season finale. Also, the levee just burst and now they're all probably gonna drown. But no, not at all. Then we quick cut back to the home invasion and the girls are still fighting. Back in the river, Broke tells Julian to get Jim Jam out of the car first and blah, blah, blah. You know how both of these scenarios are gonna turn out. Against the grain of dystopic claims, both Bork and Julian get out alive and well. Dwin eventually is able to turn the tables and she shoots that Tennis Psycho bitch and kills her purely in self-defense. At the bridge, Nathan and Jaylee find the car and Broke comes back to life after some prolonged shitty CPR by Julian. Dwin doesn't let Tennis Psycho die, but instead she lets the legal system do their job this time, or something, as a Tom Petty song plays for some reason. I won't complain, I like Tom Petty, but this feels so weirdly out of place.
Dung, dung. I don't wanna be anything other than what I've been trying to be lately. All I have to do is think of me and I have peace of mind. I don't wanna be anything other than what I've been trying to be lately. All I have to do is think of me and I have peace of mind. I'm tired of looking around rooms wondering what I gotta do or who I'm supposed to be. I don't wanna be anything other than me.
Season 8.5. This is bullshit.
Episode 164 out of 187.
And now we get a glimpse of the aftermath of the Batch and Bachelette parties, before getting a 12 hours earlier title card. Oh boy, I sure love non-linear storytelling in a shit show like this. My favorite! Anyways, it's a thing I should have mentioned that Nathan's asshole professor is named Kellerman, just like another antagonist in his life, Chris Keller. Man, remember him? Anyways, Bachelorette Party is a spa trip, and everyone besides the very pregos Jaylee Hames is ultra wasted the next day, and it seems like we missed a whole bunch of shenanigans. Also, Julian's mom is here for some godforsaken reason. God, this show is stupid. Also, someone definitely stole Broke's engagement ring. Also, there's a bulldog on a skateboard like that one animated show, Rob Dyrdek's Wild Grinders, which also featured a dog that skates. Anyways, intro time! It sounds like a knockoff Hatsune Miku singing over a generic lo-fi beat to study/relax to. See, Jaylee Hames Scott went home because she has to go be tutor wife, and now everything's gone to shit. It's an episode of wacky shenanigans filled with skateboarding dogs, celebrity guests, and random moments of insincere garbage. Also, they mentioned that Peyton isn't going to Brooke's wedding, so you know they can't get her actress to come back even for a cameo. Also, Julian's mom hated Peyton, which is something to mention, I suppose. More trying to remember what happened ensues, and there's a frat house involved where they danced embarrassing to Low by Flo Rida, but none of the ladies had on them apple-bottom jeans. Anyhow, it turns out the dog belonged to Nathan's professor, and they drunkenly engaged in some trolling by TPing and egging his house. Wacky. Anyways, the ring is just gone, and it probably won't matter. It turns out that Julian's mom is a controlling bitch and that this was all her fault since she's a worthless wench. Broke finally heads home and talks to Julian about the fight with bitch mom, and her engagement ring is just gone. She also thought she drunkenly kissed some musician or something, but it turns out it was actually Julian. So nothing bad actually happened, and he took the engagement ring for safekeeping, unbeknownst to her. God, what a strange episode. It ends ends with Brooke seeing the wedding venue and, oh, hey, it's that church where Lucas almost got married to What's-Her-Nuts. And the one where Jamie was kidnapped. Ain't that goofy? Anyways, it turns out this was all Julian's mom's involvement, even though she was still a bitch through and through. Anyways, Brooke breaks the news to Jaylee Hames that baby Sawyer is sick, so Peyton and Lubisky Scott are not coming. But hey, Jaylee Hames' scotch has been here for her, so is all's as well. And she's now the maid of honor, and her 7/8-year-old shitlord is gonna be the best man. Episode 165 out of 187. We open with a childhood Brooke memory and current Brooke reminiscing over that old house with the red door. Julian tells Jamie some grandiose story about half a token and finding your other half, and then we cut to that little shit and his dad at the river court. Finally, basketball! Jamie learns that he has to give a speech and is a bit distressed. We get some wacky pre-wedding shots and then intro time! Nothing so far could have prepared me for the knockoff Fleetwood Mac wannabe country version of the intro song. Honestly, it's a wonder they've found this many cover versions to use. Skills is back, and he's acting like the groomsmen are the security for this event, which signifies that he's never gotten over the Jamie incident, and that's pretty hilarious. Something bad always happens at Tree Hill weddings, so I'm braced for impact. Victoria comes to deliver a gift to her daughter, the wedding veil from the opening childhood Brooke memory that I only vaguely mentioned. It's a nice sentiment, and they kinda make up a little bit. How nice.
Surely nothing will go wrong.
And it definitely does, because Dwin reveals to Alex that she kinda provoked Tennis Psycho a bit. And this is a weird plot point. Jamie and Nathan get ready and open hearing the opening line of Jamie's speech. Nathan loses his shit because it sounds like a ChatGPT speech. Beautiful. He brings up Lubisky and how he always opened his speeches with quotes straight from the page of your favorite author, so Jamie is gonna do the same. Skills has a strange interaction/confrontation with Julian, and he's gonna keep these shenanigans up for the whole episode. Man! While getting some wedding pictures of Julian and his parents, they keep fighting, and it's hilarious. And speaking of fighting, Brooke's dad has no-showed. Boom. Also, Skills is 1000% eyeing Julian's mom because he's just based like that. First Nathan's mom, then Julian's mom. He's the best worst side character here. The ceremony and stuff begins. We get a flashback montage of Julian and Brooke things as her mom walks her down the aisle. It's a nice thing to see, but can we hurry up? This isn't nearly as impactful as the Peyton wedding, all things considered. Jamie says that Brooke looks just like an angel.
Skin makes me cry.
And no, her skin doesn't make him cry.
What the hell?
See, that was a creep joke, which means you can execute me on the spot the next time you see me. We get the vows and all that. It's a really nice scene, and of course, nothing bad happens during the wedding. All is fine. They put the rings on, thingies, kiss, and all is well. It's reception time. They get their first dance, and it's slow as shit. I was really hoping they'd play Don't You Forget About Me by Simple Minds, since that song meant something early on in their relationship and in this shitty set of seasons, but whatever, man. More bullshit ensues around Alex and her subplot, and I don't care. It's time for the parent-child dance, and it's all well, even though it's Julian's dad dancing with Brooke since her dad no-showed. Anyhows, it's time for Jamie to give his speech, and he opens with a Lubisky style J.K. Rowling once wrote. And just like when Lucas brought up Stephen King in that one season 3 episode, I lost my shit. He then improvises a speech utilizing the story Julian told him, and it goes well. Kid does a good job. Now it's time for Jaylee Hames Scott's speech, which recaps events from season 1. Shout out to episode 6 out of 187. And yeah, it's better than Jamie's speech by a lot. Bouquet toss, and Millie gets it, even if she eats shit diving for it. Dwin Quames tells Clay all about why Tennis Psycho hunted her down, and he takes it surprisingly well, so everything's fine. Wah-hey! Also, as everyone's getting ready to leave, it wouldn't be a Tree Hill wedding without some slutty wedding sex. So when the limo door is opened, there's Mia and Chase getting it on, and everyone starts laughing because it's hilarious, I guess. They all cover for Mia and Chase by getting the newlyweds to take his truck that's skills decorated in case of emergency like this. Alex is devastated, but she never stood a chance. Jaylee Hames and Jamie talk about their speeches and how his little sister is imminent. And you know what? It's been too good this episode. Where's the tragedy? They can't be happy. Except there is no tragedy. This isn't a season finale. Damn it.
Episode 166 out of 187.
Weird-ass comic book opening ensues, and, this is bullshit. Broke sleep fights now, and this is unimportant except for her being unemployed and doing nothing all day. Mouth got his job on TV back, so that's nice, and oh hey, he's with Millie again. Jwin is editing the wedding photos, and she's got a bunch of offers to do wedding photography, which would be a phenomenal gig, since you get free food, drinks, and you're paid to be there. Back in class, Kellerman continues to be a bitch boy and all that. Nathan's gonna fight the education system. My man! Anyways, Alex wants to record a song now, and oh, for fuck's sake, why can't she just get out of here? And now, the intro. And holy Jesus Christmas shit, they just keep getting worse. They can't keep getting away with this. They can't keep getting away with this. This one is a 2010s pop country cover, and god damn, I hate it. Julian is doing a commercial, and Mouth is his assistant, and he's gonna do great things. Broke, on the other hand, ain't doing shit. Jaylee Hames comes to convince her. We get an Angry Birds mention, and they watch Kick-Ass, which reminds me that this is 2011. We then cut to Alex and Jwin being friends and needing help to get studio access so she can do a song for her next movie, which is weird because you'd think the production would give her a recording studio to work with. This is stupid. Only stupid people watch this terrible show. Yes, I know what I just said. Thank you. Anyhows, everyone here suddenly feels the urge to help people, so Chase becomes a big brother, and the kid he's assigned to help with is Chuck the Cuck. I hate this kid, and so does everyone else. Brooke really needs a job now because she's made superhero costumes for her and Jaylee. Back to Chase's wacky misadventures with the kid who needs to take a permanent nap aided by a 12 gauge to the back of the head. Anyways, speaking of things that you can't say on television, they just casually drop a transphobic slur like it's nothing. God, I hate the 2000s. Anyways, during commercial shit, Mouth gets a job being an actor since the real actor left. Yippee! More infighting amongst the girls than people trying to figure out how to be heroes, just for one day. More weird shit I don't care about happens. Alex gets to sing a song, and it's painfully clear that it's overdubbed, and it's not a seamless transition like Alex in Life is Strange True Colors.
You were here.
Back in production land, though, Mouth secures the job like a madman. Then we get some more of Chuck's tragic backstory before immediately being reminded of why we all hate him. Hero things ensue and problems are solved, I guess. Mia and Alex fix their differences, Mia's gonna tour for a while, Millie moves back in with Mouth, and the wacky superhero trio, Jaylee, Jwin, and Broke stop a girl from getting bullied. All is well. What a weird-ass episode, man. Episode 167 out of 187. Time for the final 20 episodes. It be Valentine's Day and things are gonna get goofy. Jwin Quames and Clay bone in the shower and leave the water running like a bunch of freaks. Anyways, Nathan is gonna head over and see Clay, but not after making some Valentine's Day plans with his wife. It's sweet. Broke and Julian have a very porno-themed day. Something to do with plumbers and infidelity, I couldn't tell ya. It's got some real awkward dialogue, and god damn is it off-putting. But they bone, and we get an intro. It's weird and acoustic, but it is what it is. Chase has a shit Valentine's Day since he's got a supervised Chuck, and we check in on Mouth and Millie when a directed by credit appears on screen. I don't usually mention these, but this episode is directed by the guy who played Dan, so I have to mention that. Mouth's got a job opportunity, and then we check in on Broke and Julian, who are just going down the list of fetishes with the French maid. Anyways, Clay is a bit of a V-Day hater, and I don't blame him. Much to the chagrin of Jwin Quames. She's spending the day with Jamie, who has a date with Madison, who I probably haven't mentioned before, but she's been here for a while now, and he's confused with how girl stuff works, but determined to try his best. Anyhows, Nathan and Clay are scouting out this baseball boy, and he's a great pitcher, except he's the son of Nathan's bitch-ass professor. Back at Brooke's house, we get the babysitter fantasy porno set up, and it's weird. Like, really weird. And they're both weirded out by it until they switch roles. Anyway, Jaylee's been tearing the house apart to find her Valentine's Day present from Nathan, and she finds it. Back to Nathan on the baseball field. The kid's an asshole who's got two things on his mind: money and women. Anyways, Valentine's things ensue, and Chuck's mom kinda sucks. Mouth and Millie have a good time despite being poor and having no jobs. Clay and Jwin head to Trick, realize it's closed, but check anyway, and it turns out that Chase had his back since they set up a real special V-Day dinner. It's real special since Clay got real musician City in Color to show up and put on a show for two people. We get some shots showing Jamie's date, and it's really sweet. Then we check in on actual musician night before cutting to Jaylee Hames Scott and Nathan. And things are a bit goofy since Clay hid his gifts at Nathan's house, which is what Jaylee Hames found earlier or something. Chase drops Chuck off, they talk, and he's getting better, but he still sucks. Chase manages to help Chuck's mom be a bit better and actually show Chuck love and affection, and it's nice. Jaylee is very moody and thinks things were wrong when really there was a big surprise for her and all is well. Ain't life just strange like that? Anyhow, since Brooke can't have kids, Julian says they should adopt, and what a big Valentine's Day surprise we all saw coming.
Yeah, episode 168 out of 187.
Episode opens with Jaylee Hames Scott looking at a pic of her dead mom, mirrored by Jwin looking at some baby pics of her and Jaylee, mirrored by Broke looking and prepping at some kind of baby gifts for Jaylee Hames' baby shower or something. I don't fucking know, man. Nathan and Clay are outside somewhere. Jamie is thinking about how he's gonna be baseball, and oh hey, Millie got the job at the station instead of Mouth, and things are screwed up, man. But he's supportive of her in getting the job. What a good guy. Anyways, Broke and Julian's adoption appointment goes well. Then, intro. This one isn't bad. In fact, it sounds like it could have come out of a Life is Strange game, and I wouldn't have been offended. However, I am offended that Julian has his goddamn shoes on his bed. Anyhow, Julian's off to be a little league coach with the boys, and everything that can go wrong does. Chuck sucks at baseball, but Jamie, he's a natural at this shit. And of course he makes the team, and against all odds, Chuck makes the cut. Baby shower occurs, and Nathan's attempt to recruit the Kellerman baseball boy are definitely taking a while. Anyways, after wacky shenanigans and misunderstandings, Brooke has to repair the damage with a mom who's looking to give away her child, and things come out well for her, and Borth Lady will think about it. It seems like everything will be fine. Anyways, baseball. Nathan talks to the Kellerman kid and they chat about everything and get him to sign with the agency. Afterwards, Millie comes home and Mouth's written a couple of stories for her to read on air and set up stuff for her to practice. Brooke and Julian talk about what happened. Nathan and Jaylee talk about the name for Jamie's little sister, Lydia, and all went well. Jwin and Clay are driving home when they pass a location from their ghost adventure and they stop and look. Then they kiss and things are good. Birth Lady drops by and tells Brooke about her decision and they've secured the baby. Great job. Everything happened great in the end for no real reason. Yippee! Episode 169 out of 187. Jwin Quames is making toaster strudels and Jaylee pranks her by saying she's going into labor. Jwin is unprepared and something says that this is the episode where Jaylee is actually gonna go into labor and Quinn's gonna have to be taken to the hospital. Just a hunch, but I could be wrong. Mouth and Millie are working together, but he still isn't getting paid for his labor. Nathan got an A- on his last test, which is huge, but Professor Kellerman doesn't want Nathan to rep his son, so we'll get more conflict between them. Then, intro! And this one is a doozy. The singer is so monotone that it makes my ears bleed. It sounds like me if I tried to sing while losing my voice, so you know it's bad. Ooh, that's actually a really funny bit. I should re-record the intro, but at like 1 in the morning when my voice is just gone and I just super tired. That could be funny. Anyway, sorry, that's a note for me. That's probably not making the episode, unless the boys talking about things, and then we end up this sequence with pumped up kicks playing in the background. Holy shit, that's a terrible choice of this song for the show that had a school shooting episode. Anyways, the gag of Jaylee Hames testing people over how ready they are to get her to the hospital, it's not going well. Mouth does his thing as a newsman and complains about something to do with stealing street signs. I couldn't tell you. The broke adopted baby is gonna be here soon. Then Jaylee pulls the trick on Nathan and Clay. Oh boy, I see no way this could possibly go wrong for anyone involved. Millie just lost her job. Also, we cut away too fast to find out. Chuck the Cuck needs glasses or something, but then we cut away to other shit that doesn't particularly matter to me. We've lost the plot of the show a little bit. Millie's act was real popular with the people, so it seems like she's gonna keep her job after all. Anyways, Chuck's got glasses on and he can swing like a pro. Damn, that's crazy. It's almost like being able to see is important for B.S. Bull. And by the way, Millie did the Lord's work and she's keeping her job. Wow, past me really fucked up writing this. In fact, she's bringing in some killer ratings, so all is well. Episode ends with Nathan getting that contract signed by Kellerman's son and Jwin Quames making toaster strudels like she did at the start of the episode when suddenly Jaylee actually goes into labor. This is not a drill. Also, birth mom went into labor. How convenient. Also, it turns out Kellerman's son is the one who did the hit and run while booze cruising or something a few episodes ago. Wow, we're picking up the plot. Episode 170 out of 187. Time for an old-fashioned Tree Hill Hospital episode. And it even starts with a numbers narration, just like the last time Lubisky did it way back in season 4 or whatever. Who gives a shit? We get flashback to graduation. Holy shit, graduation reference! Please execute me on the spot. To when Jamie was born. It's an episode of flashbacks to when this show was entertaining. God, I miss basketball. We get flashbacks to the first kiss between Jaylee Hames and Nathan, and man, I really miss Coach. And oh hey, enough reminiscing, it's intro time! It's a real weird cover that can only be described as a lo-fi 2010s white girl song. Back in the episode, we get even more flashbacks! Then we get some goofy-ass things to distract Jamie, and guess what? More flashbacks! It's starting to get on my nerves, man. If I wanted this many flashbacks, I'd play Lost Records again. More Jamie narrating and contemplating the existence of babies before more goddamn flashbacks! Jesus Christ, just make it stop! Then you'll never fucking believe what comes next. That's right, if you guessed more flashbacks, you guessed right. I am in agony. Nathan sees a boy in a Tree Hill Ravens varsity jacket, and we get a Dan flashback. And this flashback has the doctor who treated Nate in season 1, and is probably the same doctor that delivered Jamie. Ain't that goofy? Then, oh hey, another flashback immediately after? You shouldn't have. No, really, you shouldn't have. Blah, blah, blah. Recycled clips with a blown out exposure keep going, and
95.1 WDNC. We do not care.
Literally everyone gets a flashback this episode, and if I have to write that goddamn word anymore, I'm gonna set myself on fire and go flying through a window. Seriously, like 30 minutes of this 40-minute episode have been shit we've already seen and talked about. So piss off, I'm not recapping all of that. Anyways, the moms give birth, and things hit a roadblock when the birth mom, her name is Chloe, but we don't care. Her boyfriend is here against all odds, and this sure is convenient. I can't wait for the legal battle over this baby to ensue and everyone get into a fight over it. I mean, we've got 4 more episodes this season, so anything's possible. Anyways, Chloe decides to keep the baby, and wow, who could have seen such a masterful twist coming? Anyhows, everything kinda sucks now, but hey, the newest family of the Inscott family is here. Her name is Lydia Bob Scott, which is a weird-ass name, but Okay. Episode 171 out of 187. Alright, it's a new day. Lydia and family are at home now, and Broke is moping around, packing things up since she can't have anything. And oh hey, they found out that Kellerman's son is the one who did the hit and run shit, so yippee! We're getting a legal battle. Nathan then talks to Mr. Kellerman, and wouldn't you know it, he seems to be real concerned when Nathan brings up the car and the booze. Then as class gets dismissed immediately, we get the intro, and dear God, I can't keep complaining about how weird they are. Every time a cover plays, it's a sucker punch to the stomach. This one's like a 2000s pop punk cover, and it's wacky as all hell and makes no sense. Mouth rants about things, and Millie writes these things down for potential stories. Then we get some wacky shit about the baby, and who cares? Also, it turns out that the professor is the booze cruiser, and things are about to get freaky! Back to Brooke, she's moping around in her room, and it sucks. But hey, that's just the way it is. They apparently don't know that you can just adopt kids who are already in the foster care system, but that's besides the point. Brooke just got an offer to be the vice president of Clothes Over Bros, which I guess it means it was somehow still running without her. I thought they closed that shit. Anyways, she'd move back to NYC with Julian and make a shitload of money and get her real baby back. Ribs. Anyways, it's a tragedy o'clock since the River Court is gonna be replaced with a condo complex. And god damn, this shit sucks. And even better, guess the problem is because of Kellerman? Yeah, he drunk drove like a champ and he quit his job and is offering to pay all bills and he's apologizing and taking it like a champ. Wow, what sudden character growth. Also, the condos thing is totally his fault, probably. I wouldn't know. I'd watched every episode until 164, and now I'm in uncharted territories. Now, we get the standard 80s movie, we gotta fight for the community center shits, but that'll be on the back burner for now. We get a concert thing with Alex singing her first show, and gee dang, I don't care. Anyhows, Nate visits Julian and explains what happened at the court. Now he wants to meet with the professor and talk things out or something. I don't know, he's an angry boy. Speaking of angry boys, Prof. Kellerman talks to his son and it doesn't go well. God, this guy is weird. And I'm sensing something weird about him, like possible mob connections weird. It's not a good vibe to get from a guy like that. Anyhows, after the show, Alex talks to Chase, and things seem to be kinda like they're hitting it off well. Kinda flirting, kinda not. I don't know, man. I miss when this show was so clear-cut and stupid in a fun way. Them usual shots around town ensue, and Broke and Julian are thinking about moving to NYC and leaving home. They're gonna go to New York. Surely something malicious is brewing. And it is, because it was actually son Kellerman who did the drink driving accident. His dad just took the fall. And oh boy, what a twist. God, I hate North Carolina now. Episode 172 out of 187. Alright, this is it. The final 3 episodes of the season, and then we're off to the last one. God, it feels like it's been ages since this journey started, and I can't wait for it to be over. We open up with some dude setting up a baseball diamond. Then there's something about Kellerman's son, but I don't care. It's time for Little League Baseball. Brooke and Julian are in fact moving, and then Nathan has pieced together that the little shit Kellerman is some sort of criminal mastermind who got his dad to cover for him. So things kinda suck right now, you know? But he's gonna make them right after this intro. It's some kind of Blitzkrieg Bop sounding ass cover, and it's not the worst intro cover, it just kinda sucks. Brooke is packing shit up, and she sees the sign from Karen's Cafe and thinks. We then cut to Chase and Alex, who screwed, then cutting back to Little League. Dwin had a job in Puerto Rico in like 2 days or something, so that's a setup. Then we see the game, and Chuck is first to bat, but of course we can't see the game, cause we gotta go see Chase contemplating things at the airport, and it seems like he broke a promise for nothing. Brooke visits Jaylee Hames Scott, delivers the sign, and talks about how much they're gonna miss each other and all of that. Nathan talks to Professor Kellerman, discovers that he lied to protect his son, and Nathan is conflicted for some reason, even though he definitely committed a crime. Anyhows, back at Little League, Jamie just whiffs it horribly and immediately strikes out like a chump. What a loser. You suck at baseball. Anyways, Chase smoked a little wacky tobacco, and it's a goofy story. Moving on, Clay wants to join Jwin Quames in Puerto Rico, but he sure won't be able to go if she has anything to say about it. Nathan copes with his daddy issues and contemplates what it would be like if he'd had a better relationship with his dad, to which his wife tells him to go see him and talk about whatever the hell he's failing. Anyhows, flashbacks within flashbacks, and after Chase needed Alex to give a urine sample so he could pass a drug test, he finds out that, oopsie, she's pregos, and now he has to contemplate what's up. Also, Jwin Quames got a spray tan and it looks like shit. Jamie keeps striking out and he sucks at baseball, like a lot. Anyways, to win the game, they give Chuck the Cuck some glasses and he's blasting dingers out of the park. Then Madison does something, but we cut away to Kellerman's son and the boys having a conversation with him about his drunk driving incident where he almost killed Broke and Jamie. Ain't that goofy? Julian does his thing and makes Kellerman's son feel like a sack of shit for the victimless crime of booze cruising, and this costs him his contract. They engage in a little physical assault and near drowning. He loses his contract and has to walk home. What a strange subplot. Jwin gets in a hot tub and loses all of her shitty spray tan. Thank God, because it felt like borderline brownface. Nathan apologizes to Professor Kellerman and they respect each other now. And he's gonna go sailing on the great wide road to nowhere, the ocean. Also, Kellerman gives Nathan a way to save the River Court via the power of protected bird species or something, and then he sails away forever. What a weird guy. Nathan then gives a motivational speech to Jamie and he waits for two strikes. Then we get a flashback to Chase and Alex. He wanted to join the Air Force, but says he'd rather stay here because Alex is pregos, and this is the first she's heard of this. Then she tells him something, but we cut to Julian and Broke, and she turned down the job. Yippee! She tells Julian that it turns out that Chase needed a piss sample, so he asked Alex. Alex also had a little bit of weed, so she was gonna ask Julian, but he wasn't home, so she asked Brooke instead. Brooke pissed in the cup, and somehow, against all odds, Brooke is pregos. The impossible odds have been met, and they did it. What a weird thing. Anyways, the end of Jamie's at-bat is finally shown, and he's blasting dingers out of the park. Then, episode end. Episode 173 out of 187. It's time to go to Puerto Rico. Just kidding. It's Mouth having a trip down memory lane at the River Court. Then Nathan and his son go on a bird hunt to prove that the snipey plover, or whatever, lives in that area, so it's protected land. Anyhows, the girls are in Puerto Rico living their best lives, and then intro. It's a weird one. This one is like a more downtrodden Ryan Adams-esque guy. Anyways, the guys are camping out by the River Court to spot a bird and engage in some protesting type shit. Also, everyone keeps calling Clay Brian Boitano, and all I can think about is one question. What would Brian Boitano do if he was here right now? I'll tell you, he'd make a plan and he'd follow through, because that's what Brian Boitano'd do. Anyhows, Puerto Rico shit occurs, Millie does her angry newscasting, and she just doxes someone on TV. It's goofy and full of shenanigans. Then the bird thing happens. Clay's in a chair drinking soda from a cooler like a dude. We get some photo shoot shenanigans and all is well there. But then we're back to bird shit before cutting back to Puerto Rico with a dance montage to that 2010s white girl music, Wild Turkey Nights. And more bullshit ensues with Brooke trying to avoid mentioning she's pregnante, etc., etc. Clay is mad he couldn't go to Puerto Rico, but it is what it is. We get a texting montage, and everyone's texting. Jesus Christ, this is so boring to watch. Anyhow, drunken shenanigans with Jamie's former teacher occur. Then we cut back to the camping boys. Julian tells Nathan that Broke is pregos, and Nathan says, direct quote, "You fertile bastard," and they drink. Anyhow, Chase tells Julian about him joining the Air Force, which Chuck overhears and gets pissed about. What a cuck. Dude, fuck Chuck, bro. He's the worst. He also steals a bulldozer and destroys some shit, including Clay's favorite chair and cooler. Seriously, Chuck sucks, and I was completely justified in hating him. He's a sad, angry, and lonely dickwad, and I want him to die right now. I don't give a shit about his tragic backstory. Anyhows, Chuck screwing everything up lead to them discovering some eggs and saving the River Court, especially with the help of Mouth and Millie doing a newscast here, and all goes well. Man, you'd swear this is a season finale, but it ain't. Not yet anyways. Everyone's home and all is doing great, and Jaylee Hames has been up to something, and it's rebuilding Karen's Cafe. With the help of Broke, since she's not moving to New York City again. They partner up and it'll be great. And of course, the River Court is here to stay. Episode 174 out of 187. Alright, this is it. The last time I get to say season finale, because the next time it'll be the series finale. Let's get this shit done, bitches! Woo! It's time to rebuild Karen's Cafe. Jamie is heading to the River Court to shoot some b-ball with the boys, and he's heading there alone. Surely this can't go wrong. Anyways, Clay has a funeral for his favorite chair. Alex says goodbye to Chase as he joins the Air Force, and it seems like Alex has won the war for Chase unjustly. Anyways, at the River Court, Chuck is a worthless cuck and makes fun of Jamie, despite how he's the best player there because of a shoelace with hearts on it that he shares with Madison. Boom. Dude, this kid sucks ass. And it made Jamie change his laces, and God, it's like we're setting up for a shitty 2010s kids drama or One Tree Hill, The Next Generation. Anyways, fuck all that. It's intro time. And not just any intro. Oh no. It's the classic intro, baby. Let's go! God damn, does it just hit different, man. I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but I'm gonna miss this shitty intro. I really am. Anyhows, it's been a while since Brooke is very much pregnant. Also, apparently Julian's movie has finally hit the standard movie circuit, and they're making good reviews. Mouth got his job back, and he and Millie host a morning talk show. How nice. Their first guest is Alex, and it's nice, I guess? Chase is in the airport, and it seems like it's been a while. According to a letter, it's been 6 weeks since Chase joined the force. Back at school, Jamie and Madison's relationship is falling apart, and oh yeah, Nathan's doing agency work with the NBA draft. Basketball is back, boys! Anyhows, Jamie at age 7, 8, 9, I don't know how old he is, experiences real heartbreak for the first time. It's time for the cafe to open, and it goes smoothly. We get a Jaylee Hames Scott music performance, and she does the thing like normal. Nathan contemplates Dan's impact on his life, and lack of impact on his kids' lives, and all that. Broke gets an ultrasound, and it turns out that Julian is a very fertile bastard, because they're having twins. Apparently we're 3 months out until baby drop date now. Anyhows, after some contrived bullshit, Chase is lonely and not happy with Alex, so when Mia performs at a USO show, you know where he's heading. After the show, she does a signing where he asks, "Can you write thanks for the 45 seconds of heaven?" A callback to when she did her first signing and he was there, and they're reunited. We then cut to Nathan and Clay heading home after going around the country to find potential prospects. Millie gets a better job offer at a station in Charlotte, and Mouth tries to convince her to take the job. And oh hey, Alex stopped writing Chase. It's finally over for them. And guess who won the war of attrition? That's right, Alex. Mia convinces Chase that it's not over between him and Alex, and all will be well out of the goodness of her heart. Nathan and Clay seem to have found their newest champion, and we cut to them at home. Once there, Clay finds that Jwin Quames got him a replacement for his favorite chair, and they get straight down to business. Julian and Brooke talk, and she's a lot more pregnant, like getting close to the drop date here. And it's weird how much time just passes in between these scenes. Nathan gets a nice moment with his family, and yeah, it's good. He finally has everything he could ever want. But we've still got like 10 minutes left, so disaster must be on the horizon. I mean, it's been a while since we've had an end-of-season Dan tragedy. Jamie confesses and apologizes to Madison, but we don't see where it goes. Millie says she wants to stick with the morning show with Mouth, and we get a Skills cameo. Awesome! He's my favorite side character. But actually, I know I said that kind of sarcastically, but no, really, Skills is the best side character here. Anyways, Brooke decides it's time to do some lifting of heavy things in the cafe, and Brooke gets hit in the stomach, likely doing fatal damage to their twin boys. But apparently not, it was a fake out since she's okay and so are the boys. Anyhows, they're born prematurely and pretty small. It doesn't seem like it'll do them any good. Jesus Christ, this is weird, man. Especially since they look like dolls. Anyways, at Air Force Land, we get a song by Julia and Angus Stone, who I would know because of their track Take Me Home, from, you guessed it, Life is Strange True Colors, which means I get to bring it up and you can't stop me this time. Bitch! Chase is actually back home in Tree Hill, and wouldn't you know it, Alex won the war of attrition. God damn it, I was hoping Mia'd win since she's cool. Anyhows, Nathan finally works up the courage to face his father. That's right, Dan is back! Nathan gives him a picture of his daughter and the ball from Jamie's first Little League hit, and he leaves. Dan says thank you, and it seems like all is well. Chase is home and here to see his essentially younger brother Chuck the sick cuck. We then see Brooke and Julian at home with their sons Davis and Jude. They grew up fine, and it's definitely been several months. Jamie gives some weird-ass narration. We get a shot of him in a white hoodie with a basketball entering Karen's cafe. And holy shit, it's a reference to Lubisky in the very first episode. Anyways, everyone's happy, and I can't wait to see how they stretch this shit for 13 more episodes. We end on a shot of Jamie doing the dribbling shot across the bridge from the intro. And goddamn, they should have ended here. But hey, we're in the home stretch now. Let's end this nightmare together. Yeah? Yeah!